Hey y'all, and welcome back to a new video of a game that I played recently where I'm finally starting to gain some rating. If you've been keeping up with the channel recently, I have recently been in a bit of a losing streak and almost got under 2200, but now I'm on the up again, so let's just get into the chess. My opponent starts off with e4, and I go with c5, the Sicilian defense, which is a defense that I've been trying to learn recently. Sorry. So I've been trying to figure out these positions by like a trial of fire, where I just try to immediately take control of this d4 square, which is the main point, with move like knight c6, and I've been playing the dragon variation, so I want to go with g6 and something like this in the future. All pretty normal stuff. My opponent goes knight f3, and I go with knight c6, which is normally how I was to play the position. I could play g6 here immediately, but I don't really like these hyper accelerated dragons. I don't think that they're any good, so I'm just gonna go with knight c6. My opponent goes knight c3, and now I go with this move g6, entering a Sicilian defense, but we're close to the dragon line at this point. My opponent goes d4, takes, and here we go. After move bishop g7, we've entered the dragon, and this is kind of all I really know about the opening, which isn't the best for games, but I'm trying to figure it out, so it's not the end of the world if I don't know every little detail just yet. My opponent goes knight c6. I take back with the b pawn, of course. Taking back with the d pawn, for you beginners out there, would be a big misstep because of moves like queen d8 takes, and your king loses castling, and you might argue, okay, well, this is an endgame, it's not the end of the world. I kind of, but the issue with this is that your opponent can develop very quickly and immediately target your king in the center, and there's also just many pieces still on the board, so a king hunt is still a possibility right now. If there are less pieces on the board, then yes, this is completely viable. My opponent, after bc, my opponent plays this move bishop d3. Pretty reasonable stuff, and I go with this move d6 after some thought, which I thought was pretty necessary to develop my light squared bishop. I might want to go here in the future, and I don't want this move to come also, so I thought that was a very interesting idea. But really the point is that my light squared bishop can get some scope finally, and I'm not really going to be developing out this way since his light squared bishop is already on this diagonal and doesn't really look like he's going to be moving off it. My opponent goes castles, and I go with this move knight f6. Okay, developing a piece. My opponent goes h3. Clearly trying to stop me from putting a piece on this square, because if he played something else like a3, of course this isn't losing, this isn't that bad, but I can quickly castle, or I can quickly I can probably put a knight here and maybe reroute my knight up here to a better square on in the center. Set h3, I go castles, and my opponent goes bishop g5. Okay, reasonable stuff. He's trying to make sure that I can't really play this move, and he wants to play this move in the future, which is a pretty common idea in these lines. Kind of the first thing that I've really learned about this opening is that your opponent wants to play e5 a lot here. So I thought here for a little bit, and I'm very glad to say that I played the best move. This is the type of move that I really like playing. It's this move queen a5, and what gave me pause here, what made me really have to think about this, is that a lot of the time I get really enamored by moves like this, just controlling this entire file from a long distance away. This type of thing that I really like, but I have to sometimes stop myself from playing these moves because I play them a little too often, and sometimes they're just losing even though they look pretty. I have to, not do that. But in this case, I thought this was the best move, and I was correct. My opponent goes queen d2. Obvious idea to play bishop h6, trade off my dark sword bishop. I thought here for a little bit, but I just played this move rook e8, moving my rook out of the way so that if bishop h6, I can just go bishop h8. This is my idea. Actually, it's better to take here and exploit the fact that this knight is a little weak, and I can immediately target the queen side. But whatever, my idea was to play bishop h8 there. And maybe I'm also wanting to play e5 at some point to really get my bishop into the game, so my bishop doesn't block my e-pawn in many lines. Okay, reasonable stuff. My opponent goes a3. Also, not to mention it does defend the bishop because my queen is attacking it. My opponent goes a3, and I thought for a little bit here, but I decided that, okay, I want to stop the move b4. Clearly his idea. I want to stop b4, but I can't really play c5. I thought that c5 was just a bad move. The computer already immediately says the move b4 is better for white, but I thought that c5 wasn't very, very smart, because why is the queen on a5 now? The queen's the whole purpose in life is to target this rank, and now it can't do that anymore. And I was like, that seems dumb. Also, not to mention, after the move c5, I thought that he might have like some weird like bishop b5 stuff. Try to target this, and I wasn't really ready for that. So I decided to just play normal stuff, and I played rook b8. Okay, just developing my rook on the open file. I thought it'd be better there. It's the pawn. And I'm inducing b4 now, but I don't think it's that bad, because at the end of the day, I think it might be more of a weakness, and I can probably play moves like a5, right? So b4, I go queen c7. Clearly the best square. If I try to stick around, then my queen kind of gets knocked around. Move like f4 or something. Actually, not f4 here. Either way, I just thought that my queen wasn't really placed well here. So I go queen c7. My opponent goes rook a d1. Just coming over here, and my opponent is just trying to get some pressure on my center. Reasonable stuff. Now, what I want to do is I really want to play this move a5. That's kind of what I wanted to do here, and I decided, okay, the reason why I can't play a5, it is actually the best move. I didn't think it was the best move. I thought a5 here, I can't push. Obviously, I don't think that pushing is correct here. And after takes, I thought that my opponent gets his bishop in, probably his knight in this case to target my queen. But I thought the bishop was like the person that really wanted to be there. Actually, that would lose. That would lose. Okay, so the knight in has to be. But and I just didn't really like this. I didn't really like this line, so I decided not to go for it. I thought that maybe my pawn was weak, and like the computer immediately says to sack the pawn here. I guess because I'm winning this, but like it's just not like, I don't want to get into these complications where my opponent has the like ability to like win the game with its outside passer, and I just thought, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? This seems stupid. This seems stupid. Am I stupid? Probably, but I don't want to do that. And I thought, okay, well, I'm gonna stop him from his plan. And I played him with bishop d7, and now I want to play a5. Now there is no b4 because my bishop defends the square. Okay, I stopped his plan. But then he has another good move. He goes bishop c4, and he's continuing to push. Currently, his idea is to play this move. He wants to play e5. That's like the whole point of his position. He wants to play e5. My computer is having a hemorrhoid in the background, if you can't tell. But, like, please disregard that. There's not much I can do. Yeah, he wants to play e5, right? And now he's opened up this attack on my bishop. So if I do nothing, he's going to go e5. First, after it takes, he's going to take my knight, take it, and here, and here. This is his idea, and he's going to be up a piece, right? So I can't allow that because I'm not going to lose the game. And I instead think of a quick option. I don't want to move my bishop back. It is actually a top engine move, just to admit that you were wrong, but I hate doing that. So I instead... Oh, that's why my computer is doing so badly. Sorry. That was on a higher depth. Okay. Yeah, now it should be fine. Now there shouldn't be any more humming. Sorry about that. And I instead think of a better option, which is this move, rook bd8. This rook is doing pretty good here. Kind of controlling the e-pawn. I thought this rook was kind of doing less. It controls the movement of b4, but I thought this was better here on d8. Then b8. And I moved her there. That was some really bad explanation, but whatever. My opponent goes f4, going all in on the move e5. And this is his first mistake. He was playing very, very well beforehand. He had to steal his nerves and just continue playing normal moves, like bring his pieces back. Like computer wanted like rook fe1, just normal developing moves. But f4 happens, and I'm thinking here for a while. I don't know how much time I spent on this move. I think I spent a decent amount of time. And I'm considering a couple of moves. I'm obviously considering the move a5, which is the move I end up playing. I end up playing a5. But the move that I really wanted to play here was this move d5. Just immediately attacking him. Like, this is the move that I want to play. This is the top engine move. I'm actually glad I considered this. I'm pretty sure I considered this. I'm pretty sure I didn't like trick myself into thinking I considered this. Which is a thing that happens sometimes. It's actually really irritating. Pretty sure I actually considered this move d5 because, and I remember why I didn't go for it. I thought that, like, after here, my opponent has some weird play, and I evaluated it really, really poorly. I just evaluated it as like, oh, this is so complicated. I don't want to get in these lines. It seems like my opponent has so many moves. I couldn't calculate anything, and I was just like, I don't like this. Gross. Ew. But like, this is actually a pretty simple line. I just go bishop e6, and now there's a pin, and I'm gonna win the bishop. Like, there's not much else you can do. Like, after takes, bishop takes, my opponent has to like really, really try because I'm attacking his knight, I'm attacking his bishop. There's just literally nothing he can do. So I would be winning the game, which is quite nice. Small side note, if my opponent were to do anything and I can't, actually, sorry, after takes, and after here I like take the bishop, this wouldn't work because my queen is hit and my bishop is hit with a check. Small side note. And I can't go queen b6 check because the knight obviously defends it. Either way, I don't want to get into those complications, so I didn't, and I instead went with the move a5. Not a bad move. Just kind of targeting him over on that side of the board. All right. And now my opponent just hangs a pawn. My opponent simply hangs a pawn. He goes rook d1. Obviously, still trying to go e5. And this is the whole purpose of my opponent in this game was this e5 move, but really he just kind of, it was also his like biggest downfall. It was also his biggest mistake. And now he just loses a pawn. A, B, and queen b6. And that's a fork of the king and the pawn. And there's nothing he can do. King h1. He thinks for a decent bit. He thinks for like 30 seconds. And I just take the pawn. Because it's a free pawn. Nothing he can do. Also, this bishop kind of sucks. Like, if he ever takes my knight, I have the bishop pair now. Thank you. And, like, there's a lot of issues. Not to mention, like, d5 is on the way. Like, I'm going to have sacrifices to open up my rook on this queen. Like, there's some serious stuff here. My opponent goes e5 because I'm threatening, like, a million things here. Like, I'm threatening the bishop. I'm threatening all that. Like, if he dropped the bishop back, there's got to be, like, some crazy move. Like, for knight h5, the threat of fork, and I'm attacking the knight. I'm winning. Yeah, so he decides to go e5, and he wants to trade the bishop for the knight. Okay. But at the end of this line, I'm just up 2 pawns. And that's enough. 2 pawns is enough. Words of wisdom with me. Come on, 2 pawns is enough. And what's even funnier, he can't do this line, which I thought he wanted to play, because the rook just hangs. It's a free rook, which is hilarious. And after bishop h4, I'm up a minute on the clock, and I'm just winning the game. I think here for a little bit. I could do this move d5, which I really should have played. It's a very good move. Kind of just holding the knight in place, and then I can like bring my bishop out. Maybe this bishop can come this way in some lines. I might want to take the rook at some point. It's interesting stuff. Instead, I go with this move g5. I wasn't really considering the move d5. I'm not going to lie to you. I wasn't considering that. But instead, I go g5, which I thought was pretty reasonable. Idea was I want to expand on the king side. I want to go like g6. I mean, g4 at some point, and really try blowing itself open. He can't take because I would win the bishop here. So my opponent goes bishop g3, and I thought here for a little bit, and I play kind of a bad move. I play this move f5, holding everything in place. I thought this wasn't correct because, I mean, obviously I'm winning the knight first, but I thought it wasn't correct just in general because his pawns are doubled and I'm able to like open my light squared bishop up, and I thought that was very interesting. Here my opponent defends the knight with move rook f3, and I probably should have played the move g4. I really don't know why I didn't. That move kind of is screaming to be played. I'm actually kind of mad at myself. I don't know why I didn't play that move. It's just a very natural move, actually. Like, I don't know what my opponent does. Probably, like, here. And then it's kind of over. Like, I can play the move d5. He's kind of locked in forever. And, like, if he ever takes, I'm just going to recapture. Now this is open. Okay. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't do that. It was part of my idea. But instead, I took the rook first, which is actually the best move. Bishop takes e1, and then I go with this move like bishop e6. Not really having a plan in mind also, which is stupid. Like, I was just, I kind of just played a move to defend my pawn. If I wanted to play a better move, I could have played rook e8. Like, that's a much better move. I'm attacking this. Well, I'm targeting this, and then I'm going to play this in the future. Or I could just play g4 again. Like, this is fine. After rook e6, rook e8. This is fine. You can't do this because queen f1. You don't win this. It's actually like worse than that. Like, I can play. I might not be able to play this. I might not be able to play rook there. Let me see. No, rook there is fine. Okay. Whatever. Either way, I go bishop e6. My opponent takes on g5. I'm only up one pawn now. And I go with this move d5. This is too late. This is too late because my light squared bishop is kind of blocked in now. Like, now this is just doesn't make that much sense because my light squared bishop isn't that good. And, like, it's just not a good move. It's just not a good move. My opponent goes knight e2, which is a very good move. Now the knight is no longer under fire, and I'm only, like, barely better here. So I have to, like, think really quickly. I play rook a8. Like, very, very quickly. And now I'm just coming in over on the A file, trying to get down to attack the king. Okay, we're going to keep going here. My opponent goes knight f4. Here I could win a pawn, but I don't blame myself for not seeing this because I had time trouble. I was only at a minute at this point. I could have played rook a2 and won this pawn. I'm not going to blame myself. Time trouble is kind of annoying here. I only had a minute on the clock. It's not the end of the world if I don't see everything. But instead I go rook a1. My opponent goes knight h5, and here I have this amazing tactic that I didn't see at all. It's this really cool geometric like fork here. I have this nice move, queen h4, which is funny, hitting the knight and hitting the bishop, which is pinned to the king, with my rook in the corner here. Incredible move. I didn't see this. And after like a move like knight g3, I'm gonna play this move f4. I just like actually just win the game because he can't do this because I'm just gonna win the knight, and if he takes with the queen, I'm just gonna win the bishop, right? So it's just actually a crazy like geometric sequence, and I thought that was really cool when I was analyzing the game, but it doesn't really work exactly. So I go bishop h8, which is a waste of time. Don't know why I played it. My opponent knight f6 takes, and I quickly calculated that there's no mate after queen g5, so I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna play quick moves here. I have 30 seconds on the clock. We're not gonna spend too much time. I'm just gonna play queen e4, hit the bishop. He can't really do much, and there's no mate after this because my king can run over this way and there's nothing there. Yeah, except for the fact that I'm losing after rook e3. It's actually game over after rook e3. Because of I thought that this but check what okay, well, obviously not there. That's cool. I didn't see that. Yeah. Either way, my opponent counter blunders. He goes queen g5, like going for mate, but I mean, there's no mate here. This is the only thing I had calculated, so my opponent quickly moves out of the way and goes rook e3 now. but too little too late. Now he's just going to lose a bishop. Nice stuff. Rook takes, queen takes. I'm up a bishop. My opponent has 13 seconds on the clock. I'm able to win this game here. I go king e8. I go with this move h5, stopping the h1. Very nice move, because after the queen takes, I take on f6. A nice move in time trouble. My opponent comes back, and I just kind of shuffle my pieces around and wait for him to stall out. Like, I make some progress, but like this is my last move, for example. And yeah, that's the game. Either way, this was a fun game that I played recently, and I'm back to winning games finally. I played this at 81% accuracy, not the best thing in the world, but it's not that bad. So I'm not that mad at myself. I think that this was a decent game to come back with, and I hope you all enjoyed. Hope you all found this entertaining. If you did, remember to like, subscribe to all the normal things YouTubers tell you to do. And yeah, good evening and good night.